It's another Human First AI marketing podcast. I'm your host, Mike Montague at Avenue 9. This week, we're talking with Michael Ocean from Sell Me This Pen AI. The website, sellmethispen.ai. Really easy to remember. He is also the host of the podcast by the same name. I was a guest over there if you want to go hear my story, but you should also check out that for all kinds of great sales tips. If you're in sales, and I know a lot of my audience and connections are, go check out sellmethispen.ai. Mike, welcome to the show. It's another Mike and Mike episode.
I appreciate you, Mike. Thanks for having me. It's good to see you.
So my first question for you is the human first question, because you decided to develop an AI role play and coaching assistant aimed at making salespeople better instead of trying to build an AI salesperson that will, robocall everybody. How did you come to that decision, and how did you get into sales AI?
Well, I would say I'm a very selfish person. So being a seller myself, I don't want to be replaced. But, on serious notes, I've been in sales for almost a decade. And what I genuinely believe, especially when it comes to enterprise sales, more, complex deals or situations, I cannot foresee an AI bot getting in those conversations, talk to a CFO, talk to a senior leader. It's most probably over, 50 years old and used to a certain way of doing things. And it's mostly around trust. And if you consider buying a house and do all the due diligence through AI, maybe at that point we can say, all right, salespeople might not be needed, but at the same time, anything that is a big risky purchase, at least for now, for time being, we need people to have these conversations, navigate complex buying processes, get alignment between different people, because yes, you might be able to scale these conversations, but do you have any proof points that they really give you the result you're looking for? I wouldn't say yes, at least today. And for me, again, I want to help salespeople because I'm a seller more than a founder.
Yeah, I love where you're going there. And I think you're right. We will see more and more purchases happening. I bought my new Tesla on Carvana and didn't talk to a salesperson. That's a pretty big purchase. And I just saw this week that they're delivering themselves now with the autopilot. So you can have your Tesla drive from the dealership to your house after you buy it online. But I do think enterprise selling is different. That's still a one-person purchase. That if I know what I want, it's even in a house. I think if it's a couple or a solo person and you know what you want, where the area you want, you look at it, you get it inspected, great. Buy it online. Do it with AI or something. But when it comes to buying teams or things where you don't know what you want, or it's complicated, or you need validation and services, like it's a custom product, I think that's going to be really hard for AI for the foreseeable future, at least 7 to 10 years. But what are the ways you're using AI to make salespeople better? Because I think that's a more fascinating conversation too, because I always think that's a way better use. I don't want to buy from a robot, but I do want to buy from a salesperson who knows what they're talking about, who's prepared, who has better research on me, knows more about my problem than I do, and can solve problems for me.
Yeah, that's a great question. Like, to your point, you want to work with professionals. You want to work with someone who is actually a practitioner, and that practitioner needs a lot of practice, needs a lot of coaching to really get to that level of proficiency, right? So that's what we do. We help them have better conversation through AI-generated role plays and one-on-one coaching. And why it's so powerful? Because it's a safe environment for people to make mistakes. And also to get guided from someone who's not biased, or sometimes we say if it's biased across the board. So it means it biased with everyone. And it keeps learning about your behavior, about your strengths and challenges. And historically speaking, especially for those who are in sales, individual coaching has been almost non-existent because it's so difficult. Just imagine if you have a team of 10 Some people have team of thousand frontlining, individuals working. It's extremely difficult to understand, and you really just track and give that everboarding, if you will, for each one of those guys. Hey, maybe I have a bad day today. Maybe I have some skill gaps that are unknown even to myself. But through conversations and AI, right now we can navigate those areas of improvement and remind reps to learn at their own pace rather than being rushed through a group, training session, or maybe wait a week to meet with the manager. So maybe they do some call reviews instead of pipe reviews, if you will.
Yeah, I think there's a lot there. I guess my next question for you would be, how does the AI help them get better? Do you see specific skills, or what is it about the role play? And I think there are some real benefits to AI role play, just around, you don't want to be embarrassed in front of your boss or your coworkers, and so it's easier to role play with an AI than it is with a human. And you're not going to do that with your spouse or your kid and stuff either. They don't know how to play the other side of it, and role plays can get really weird real fast with humans. So can you talk about maybe why AI is a better role play partner than a human?
Absolutely. So let's look at how we are running role plays right now. So typically, if we are talking about larger organizations, it's in a group setting. So once a month, enablement comes and say, hey, let's get everyone in the room. Let's bring a use case that might not be even relevant to half of the people sitting in that room, and then pick one rep or two and have a quick, back and forth. And then later, maybe we give some, feedback so they can improve and apply to their real life. So the problem with that group setting is that first and foremost, only a few people get a shot to actually practice. And most of this practice is around content. So people who are running this role play, trying to script and take the script from maybe some of these conversations with clients and build a hypothetical scenario. And the problem with that is, like, as a rep, I've been in this group setting, you get weirded out. It's like, this is not how it goes. This is not how actual clients actually converse. And it's just, this whole setup is unsafe, because if I screw up in front of 30 peers, I'm going to look bad. You can say, hey, we have coaching culture and we talk about it, but the reps feel bad and maybe they don't share it with you. Now, let's just take it to the next level. Some companies come and say, let's do peer-to-peer role play sessions. And I've done that too. So the problem with that is you get another rep sitting in front of you, and not every reps are great actors, if you will. Even that, like that act itself requires certain skills, because we are not buyers, we are sellers. So do you understand all the buyer personas, or you stick just to use cases that you heard as a seller? So that's a different setting. With AI, you can build buyer personas, different personalities, different scenarios that can catch you off guard, but you don't feel heartbroken, because you're practicing with the machine. So what happens if I screw up? Nothing. I can just press a button and go through it again and again.
Yeah, I think there is a lot there. And then there's also the review side, which is I found coaches to be fairly and managers to be fairly bad at reviewing role play. You can catch kind of what you like, or the talk track. So they focus too much on the words and not the tone or the speed, or they're not thinking like a buyer, like you mentioned. So can you talk about some of the things you use AI to look for in these role plays, and how you score them and give feedback? Because I think there are some things AI can do better than humans. There are things humans can do better, which is being, gentle and nurturing, or understanding maybe the context of the experience of the rep and all the stuff that they're trying to do. But there are also some things that maybe need to be more objective as well.
This is a great topic, actually, and it's top of mind for almost, I would say, every single client we have right now. So coaching the coach, or understanding why our coaches cannot actually coach. So what's the root cause of this? We typically tend to promote our high performing reps to leadership positions without giving them any training, and sometimes with wrong incentives. Said, hey, you have to do coaching, but you get measured based on number of deals closed. So that misalignment right there can make things really difficult for a frontline sales leader who's stretched thin right now with everything that is happening in the space. So they have to learn new stuff. They have to coach. They have to do pipe review. So they just simply don't do it. Most of these folks don't have the skill sets or even desire to coach, because does it really impact my performance directly? Maybe, maybe not, because I'm not good at it. So I'm suspecting that I'm not going to get a good ROI from these sessions. So I would say AI can do better because first and foremost, AI is not biased. AI is not tired. AI is not, stressed. And also AI has context at a larger scale. So how do we give coaching? We typically say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Rep, pick a call. You want me to do a review for you, send it over, and then I check and I get on a call and we have a conversation. So what do we do as reps? We pick the best call, we send it over. If you really have the culture, maybe I pick a bad call and send it over. Then manager, what do? 2x, 5 minutes, 10 minutes before the call, let's quickly, rush through that conversation and find some nuggets. And then halfway through the actual coaching session, return, okay, let's see how we can save this deal. Like, hey, you know what I'm trying to say? It turns to a pipe review. So AI doesn't do this stuff. And another thing that I love about AI coaching is that you can build your AI coach the way that actually run the coaching session. What do I mean by that? So instead of jumping right into giving feedback, this is a typical, again, pattern with human coaching. We tend to be, tempted to give the answers right away because we don't know how to coach, right? So AI could actually work with the rep. How do you want your feedback? Do you want just straight to the point, different messaging, for example? Do you want a follow-up email? Do you want a role play again? Do you want me just to really dig in and understand like what went wrong in your head, and then we kind of like unlock those areas of improvement and work on it together? Now, from the flip side, human coaching can be extremely powerful as well. Again, if you have experience, frontline leaders who got coached to be a coach. I have an enterprise client, and these guys are doing a phenomenal job at this. So they put this AI coaching in place for quick feedback. Hey, you're done with your day. Go get your feedback. Collect what you learned from it. During a one-on-one, they mostly focus on their reps and why they are actually in sales. Let's focus on your goal. Let's focus on how to actually strategize so you can hit your numbers. You can buy that car. You can take care of your parents. You can take that vacation while AI is doing the dirty work for the leaders, walking through this, role play session, score them, give them some, quick tips so they can apply it right away for their next call. So I think this balance is the most powerful, combo that we see, at least based on our clients and their feedback.
Yeah, I love that. I think it takes it back to the human first message of this podcast, which is we're not replacing the managers either. The managers have an important role, and people can't self-diagnose. My dad loves the phrase, you can't read the label from inside the bottle. So we know that if we leave reps alone with no accountability, they're not going to do any role plays. They're going to keep doing what they think is already right. And they're not going to be able to recognize their own mistakes, right? And they're not going to work on the hard parts. When we have that human coach that can understand, like, hey, we're having a bad day, or it's the middle of the summer, you're going to France, we're gonna let you off the role play this week, right? Like, this isn't a good time to do it. But then also, you're having a bad week. You need to work on this. You're in a slump. You can't sit around and do nothing. I need you to at least get better at your talk tracks. If you're not going to get on the phone, like, here's when we need to really dig deep and work on some stuff. Those are the things that I think we need human managers for, and when they make the biggest difference. Not, like you said, the heavy lifting or the technical ins and outs of role plays or a specific situation.
I want to add something to this, Mike. Your point is absolutely correct. But just imagine it this way. AI gets so good they can actually recognize patterns in terms of like if someone is burnt out. But from the other side, we need a massive mindset shift. It's a big change for a rep to open up to a machine, to literally open up. Hey, my dad is sick, dude. I don't feel well because of that. it is still, weird, and we are not still there for, human as a species to really trust fully to AI and have meaningful conversations. Yes, you might even talk to your, chat GPT while walking on the street and brainstorm ideas, which is great starting point, I would say. But do we really trust AI to, open up about some of the stuff that we don't share on LinkedIn, or some of the, real problems that we want to speak to a human being that we trust, and because we know they've been maybe there, or they understand us really well and they care for us? I don't know the answer yet. So if someone build it, please by all means reach out to me. I would like to learn about your solution.
Yeah. That's why I love the podcast and talking to experts like you. Is I think there is no line here. There's no correct answer. Yes, we use AI for this. No, we use humans for this. It's going to be a flexible scale, and we need to keep having these conversations as leaders. I also want to, up the level of difficulty here, Michael, and ask you a question, because we're on the AI marketing show, not the Sell Me This Pen podcast. What do marketers need to know about the state of sales in 2025 and beyond? Because I feel like the lines are blurring here. That we can market to one person, we can automate a lot of stuff down to the individual. We can also kind of sell to multiple people in these enterprise teams and account-based marketing and sales that we can do now. It seems like that is also not a clear line, that the line between sales and marketing is getting more blurry. How do you think about it as we sit today?
This is such a great question, because I think this is top of mind for whomever is in go-to-market, in any capacity, I would say. But specifically talking about marketing and sales. By the way, I don't want to embarrass myself and hallucinate. I'm not a marketer, but I can see what we practice and give us positive feedback through marketing. So we have this alignment that I do a lot of marketing activities right now for top of funnel, and podcast being one. And what I'm seeing is, again, I go back to the same problem. Buyers don't trust sellers. There are tons of stats out there. 70% of buyers don't want to chat with sellers because, again, data is available. You can easily do your research. You're already burnt by many sellers in the past by getting wrong information, getting lied to, or even the whole process is really annoying. You talk to an SDR that has no power or understanding, send you to an AE who gatekeep some information and pricing, try to qualify you. So people, to your point, you bought your Tesla online. So I think the role of a marketer in this space, something that I would say could really position them as a strategic, people in the org, is that to partner with sales and help them understand the dark social a little bit better. So it's all about conversations. We build trust through conversation. Where do we start these conversations? For example, LinkedIn, you send a meaningful, message or post that starts the conversation. So now we have to ask this question: do our reps really have this understanding how to have conversations over, a social media or a text message or email beyond, face-to-face or over Zoom? Because we overstack on training for, one-on-one conversations, but conversation could happen in different forms. Are we training them? Are we giving them enough relevant content to our buyer personas that add some value to their buying process and to understanding things that they may not actually notice through social media, for example? So I would say dig in more, get closer to your buyers and understand what really matters to your ICP. Then arm your sellers with not only right content, even the strategies, because many sellers are completely lost. It's not necessarily a willpower problem. They just don't know where to start. And why not marketing is more, again, methodical, getting to research, understanding, customer, voice and perspective, and transfer it to the sales org. I think this is how we are doing things right now. They're helping me a lot, my marketing team, even with some of these like prompt engineering. They understand how to play with words better than I do when it comes to social, and they give me a tool that can get the job done for me really quickly. Then I bring my expertise to adjust, some of these answers I'm getting from AI. Because to your point, you want to be human and AI working hand in hand to get great results.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And for my, I guess 25 years of experience in sales and marketing and doing marketing for sales training companies and all kinds of stuff there with the overlap, I see some common threads that you mentioned there, which is ironically, I think marketing worries more about the ideal client profile and the targeting and the demographics and stuff than salespeople do. I think you probably, as a salesperson, their qualification is can this buyer fog a mirror, right? If they're interested and they're alive and they're human, they want to talk to me, I'll go for it. I'm a salesperson. Marketers have to be really careful about their budget, where they're spending, who they're targeting. They seem to do better at what does a marketing qualified lead look like. But then once that gets passed over, I think salespeople understand the buyers and the buyer intent better. Marketers tend to focus on features and benefits and what is the credibility or social proof or who gave me a nice case study of what do people say that the product does, and they don't really know why people buy. Those stories of like, what is the problem that it solves? What was the emotional reason this person was going to get fired if they didn't change something, or the company was going to go out of business? These are bigger emotional reasons that I think salespeople know better than marketers. And if we can come together, especially in an AI, and create a knowledge base of both of those things, for me, I think we're missing huge context in our sales calls and our meetings that we're not using for marketing. And we're creating a lot of cool stuff in marketing that salespeople are not using for enablement on their calls. But now we can create some really cool marketing materials for one specific client, or we can create a database where we can say, hey, customize my pitch to this prospect who has this exact problem or these demographics. And we can create much better messaging than we ever have been before. It's a really cool opportunity for sales and marketing to come together. But I think those data silos are still pretty separate at this point. And they're coming down. The walls are coming down, but they need to come down even faster and lower than we have been. What's your take on that?
Look, you have to look at the root cause of all these problems. Like I'd love to start with, sellers. Let's start with myself. Historically, we hate updating CRMs or taking notes, and we have variety of different styles inside a big sales organization. Maybe I put some bullet points that reminds me about what to do next. Some other people like to read a book. Like, this is the conversation, this guy was engaged or not, good or bad, I don't know. But the fact that we don't have access to clean data always been top of mind for me as well, because I've worked for companies that we ended up like moving stuff from HubSpot to Salesforce, and then marketing didn't find value. CS team has struggled to actually tie what the value we offer after someone promised something else. Building that clean data, I think this would be the first step, so we get reality check beyond gut feeling. So based on conversation, during this conversation, this, and that happened. So can we get access to big scale data that shows us what our reps are actually saying during this conversation and what they're hearing? So this is something that we help with some investment too. Shameless plug. You get the memory of, let's say, 2,000-3,000 calls, and based on conversation, not just a bunch of scorecards, to go deep into insights, what these buyers are actually care for. What did they buy from us? Why they ghosting our reps? What are those patterns that we can find? And maybe then human can get involved. Like marketing, I think, is a great org for this. It's a specific practice. Get into those win-loss calls and get people on the call, get those humans on the call. This is not with the salesperson. This is for marketing, just to adjust our practices. Why did you buy? Why didn't you buy? And then ask good questions to uncover the actual problems behind our sales processes and adjust. Another aspect I wanted to quickly mention is that beyond data and content, historically what marketing is doing is to generate leads, right? Let's push an event. Let's send some stuff. Let's build tons of great content that nobody actually uses. What if we can understand the buying process again better and come up with content that really matters to the buyer and hand it over to our reps? Because So many of these decisions happen after the conversations are done. And sometimes sellers don't even have total control over it. So there are many other
Yeah.
stakeholders that might see some materials. Can marketing actually build a nice content base around best practices, use cases, real life ROI that we achieved, and hand it over to reps for a specific buyer persona? I think this is achievable right now based on actual conversations. It would be very difficult.
Same, and I think the other way around is huge too. I think marketers want, and you can hear now, all these are being recorded, so we can use
No,
them in marketing when the client says, "Oh man, this is
no,
the greatest thing I've ever seen," or "You're saving my job here," or
no.
"I really love this feature because of X, Y, Z." Those are things we want to hear as
No.
marketers, and we weren't involved in those conversations, but now we can be. We can get permission to at least leverage that information in those transcripts and our GPT and our content, if not the actual video of the client saying nice things about us when they're buying. I think those are tremendous opportunities. Now, before I let you go, I got to ask you a couple of questions about the future because I think it's getting crazy. So if we predict even further out, what do you think the profession of sales looks like in the next 7 to 10 years?
I wish I knew, because honestly, I don't. It's just my 2 cents. I don't even know, and I cannot be confident about it because nobody knows in
Yeah.
reality. But what we see right now, even why we talk 10 years, what we see today, people are getting replaced. Some people become AI enabled and be more strategic. And I know everybody's just repeating this message, and by now it's getting, even weird hearing it. But that's really the truth, because we have use cases, we have clients who ended up actually getting rid of some people. And then I was like, this wasn't your vision, Mr. VP. When we chatted, you didn't want to do this. Why it's happening? I said, look, with or without your tool, we would do that. But we wanted reality check. We wanted to make sure that we give enough support so people can actually adjust. But sometimes you see, someone is in the seat, in a wrong seat, and you cannot do anything about it. And it has nothing to do, honestly, with AI. So to directly answer your question, in 10 years, I would say inbound sales is completely automated. So especially for transactional sales, we really
Mhm.
don't need it. And maybe 10 years is a long time. Maybe AI bots selling to AI, I don't know, buyers. So it's just a back and forth qualification.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if human will be involved in the decision, because look at LLMs right now compared to 1 year ago. Maybe just a simple usage of ChatGPT. Before we had to build master prompts and find logic to connect them together. Right now, you can achieve that really easily because the models are getting better every single day.
Yeah.
So who knows? That's the answer. I don't know.
I agree. Okay, then if you had to take your best guess of the future you would like us to end up in, what sci-fi movie do you think is the best predictor of where we'll get in our lifetimes, like maybe 30, 40 years out?
Jesus, this is the hardest question, man. That's the hardest question. I got to be careful here. Um, Honestly, I think it's going to be a world. I hope this is going to be a world that we don't have to work. Like
Mhm.
humans don't have to actually, put hours and work this way. We will have access to ocean of knowledge that we actually do even today, but beyond our imaginations. And I think some of these, AI stories we hear might actually turn to hardware and just be embedded
Mhm.
to us as part of the human being. This is like how I imagine it, because look, it's what's happening right now. It's just
Yeah.
software. It's just the very infancy of this, and we build businesses. We try to solve diseases and all the crazy things that we do. 30 years in, I don't know. Maybe we're just kind of like be a
Yeah.
hybrid species. I don't know. I really don't
I
know.
think it's exciting to know that it is at least conceivable now, for the first point in human history, that maybe humans don't have to work and certainly do some of the really tough jobs that have been hazardous for humans for a long time. I think that's a cool idea and concept, and I'm excited to see what humanity does after that. I think that's really fun. And then I imagine that there will still be sales and marketers and people trying to make cool things or art or impact for other people. So I think that's a really cool thing too. And also, Ocean of Knowledge is your next podcast, by the way.
Nice.
So you can start your own personal one. But go check out Michael Ocean on Sell Me This Pen podcast, or sellmethispen.ai is the website. He's also a good connect on LinkedIn. We chat regularly there. I'm Mike Montague with Avenue 9. You can go to avenue9.com. Don't forget to follow this podcast, subscribe, share it with somebody that you think needs to hear it. And Michael, before we let you go, how else can you help us or we help you?
Well, if you know people who need help with sales skills, send them over. I'm happy to have one-on-one conversations, and they shouldn't be necessarily like CROs or VPs or decision makers. I always love to have conversations, especially with reps, just to understand what's going on right now in the space, because things are changing very, very quickly, and I'm sure I can learn a lot and I can share my 2 cents. Hopefully we can help each other that way. So yeah.
Sounds great. And if you're a small business owner, medium-sized business looking to work on your messaging, I heard this new term, instead of prompt engineer, a context engineer. And I think that's what we do at Avenue 9, help you build the context for the AI around your story, your impact you're trying to make, and collect all of that data and your positioning, unique voice in the market to help you create better and cooler stuff for your marketing and connect better with humans. So go to avenue9.com if you're looking for something like that. Until next time, keep going. Have fun, everybody.